Hello, I'm Swan. If you're new here, welcome. If you're part of my crew, thank you for coming back. And every single year, I wind up promising myself I'm not going to overspend for the holidays. And somehow I always wind up at Target with a cart full of gifts for people that I barely even know. So, and I'm looking at the bill. $250. How did I get here? When I already promised myself I would not be doing this. But this year, I'm not going into January in the negative. I'm not going to be apologizing to my bank account when I don't have enough money to get my bills paid. So if you don't want to go broke during the holidays and you feel like I feel, this video is for you. I have some realistic options that I'm trying to do myself in order to have an amazing time for this holiday season without going broke and regretting it in January. So let's get started. Okay, step one, what can I actually afford? So the first step I did was I wanted to come up with a realistic budget, not a budget that's imaginary where, hey, my bank account is not going to say, hey, I'm running thin here. Where you think all this money going to come from? And then you're going to have a problem because then you're going to think of other ways to get money, like using those credit cards. I'm not going in debt this year using my credit cards. Whatever I make the budget, because we got to be honest with ourselves. Hey, what are you willing to pay? Or not what you're willing to pay, what can you afford to pay in order to get your gifts this year? So once I set my budget, I used my journal. I put a spot in my journal and came up with a budget. It's not the one I wanted, but it's a realistic budget. So once I did that, I said, okay, once I set the amount, now it's time to think. Okay, let's go into phase 2. Okay. Step 2, only buy gifts for the people that matter. That will cut your list in half, because a lot of times we do guilt buying. We say, okay, this is my cousin coming for the holidays. I got to buy them something. I don't want them to feel left out. With this year, I'm not doing it. I'm sticking to the budget, sticking to the ones that are truly on my list, and that's where I wind up getting in credit card debt year after year, thinking, oh, I didn't get this person to give. Oh, wait, what about them? I'm not doing that this year, because once January hit and I got all this credit card debt to pay back, and then by the time January, February hit, everybody done forgot about what happened in December, and you stuck with paying those cards off. So this year, I'm sticking to the list. Hey crew, stick to the list, and we're moving on to, wait a minute. So the people that you're not going to buy gifts for, that you know they're coming, we can buy like bulk cards, holiday cards, fill them out with a nice message, so that way they can still feel special, and you're not going and breaking the rule that we made is staying in budget. We have to stay in budget if we're going to succeed in this. Okay, let's move on to the next phase. Okay, phase 3, cheaper traditions that still feel good. When social media took over, everyone wanted to have the most expensive tree, the best ornaments. You paying $20, $30 for ornaments. And you got to have matching pajamas. The meals got to be extravagant, like you at the buffet line. Things are different this year. Let's bring back some of the old school traditions. Like you have movie night and we have a hot chocolate station. And here's another one. Bake homemade cookies together as a family. Take photos of, the mess, and everyone's having fun. And another tradition is make s'mores. Go out and roast s'mores together as a family. That's something inexpensive versus going to Disney World, versus going to SeaWorld, versus going to extracurricular activities that we're trying to stay in budget, because it can get costly real quick. So why not bring back some of the traditional things? And that way we can make memories, and your family are going to mainly going to remember the time we spent together. And hey, do you remember when this happened? You remember when we did that? That's the main reason for the season. So I'm going to incorporate that more this year. We can all have a pajama night, but it don't have to be matching pajamas. You know, everybody got to have the same coordinated pajamas. It don't have to, hey, get your pajamas. Let's go ahead and have some fun, you know? So those are small ways that we can still incorporate having a great time. And here's another one, okay? You know, I do this every year. I provide all of the food, well, majority of the food for the holidays. And then I'm thinking, oh my goodness, we done spent $300 to $350 on food. And we done spent money on all these gifts. We done maxed out all our credit cards. And then we're stressed out at the beginning of the year. I'm not doing that this year. So this year, you know what? Let's have a potluck. Everybody bring a dish, bring a dessert, and that way it's not weighing on one person to provide the whole meal. And let's move on to the next phase. I forgot one option. Also, you can take pictures on your phone, and that way you're not paying $200 to $300 for, it's getting dark. You're not paying $200 and $300 for a photographer to take your professional pictures. The way they got things now, you can download a editing app and you can make those pictures just as magical and beautiful as you want. Make your copies at CVS, Walgreens, some local place that have discounts, because right now they got discounts on your prints. And that way you can send something nice to your family members without breaking the budget, okay? Listen, we're working with it. Now let's move on to the next part. The next part of the phase is cash only. I'm only using cash this year because, you know, if you're going to use your credit card or a debit cards are a no-no, because this is what's going to happen. You're going to say, well, oh, I got a couple of extra dollars in there this week. I'm going to go ahead and tap that card and buy a few extra gifts. I'm going to get a little more expensive gift than I expected. And then you're going to wind up breaking the plan and your budget is going to go through the roof. You keep doing that throughout the rest of the holiday season. So for me, it's cash only. Once I put that money in the envelope of what my budget is, I'm sticking to it. So if we stick to the plan, then, hey, we're staying on budget. We're going to, our bank account is going to thank us January and February, because you know what a lot of people do. You know what? I'm going to have fun. I'm going to max out these cards. I'm going to have a magical, beautiful time. We're going here. We're going there. And then before you know it, you're going to say, you know what? Income tax time is right around the corner. I can get that rapid refund, and that way I can pay my credit cards off and still have a magical time. But guess what wind up happening? It happens majority of the time, 99% of the time. This is what we do, because I am guilty of this. We wind up setting ourselves up, making us feel good, thinking we're going to stick to the plan. And then when that income tax money come, you done made a whole nother scenario of plans of what you're going to do with that money. So stick to your cash budget, and then that way you're not tricking yourself into thinking that you're going to use that income tax money to pay those credit cards off, and you wind up not doing it, and you wind up in debt. Like I do every single year. I tell myself I'm going to do this. Not this year, okay? So we got to stick to the plan, okay? So here's the thing. Staying out of debt is the key. We summing it up, because that is the thing. If we stay out of debt, we're going to have a peace of mind going into the new year. We're not guilt buying. We can enjoy the holidays once we set our budget and our limits. Stick to those budgets, those limits. And that way you can enjoy the holidays with your family, and you're not stressed out about buying extra gifts, because you already got the mindset that you're going to stick to the plan and have an amazing time this holiday season and go into the new year without stress, without added debt, without trying to figure out how you're going to pay that light bill, how you're going to get the rent paid, and how you're going to figure out that you didn't want to use that income tax money in the first place, because you're going to wind up needing it for something else. Save it for a rainy day. That way, hey, no obligations, no commitments. You just stick to the plan.